Right now at 5, a 5-year-old girl, an innocent victim of nearby gunfire, a convicted felon arrested. Neighbors and city leaders tell KSLA News 12 enough is enough. And more people are now eligible for the vaccine in Louisiana. Soon everyone will be, but are too many people still choosing not to get it?
And storms are expected to roll through the Arklatex tonight. I'll have a first alert track and a look at possible impacts from them on the way in your forecast.
Broadcasting live, KSLA News 12 starts now.
Tonight, there's outrage and anger across Shreveport after a stray bullet critically injured a 5-year-old girl. The man you see right here on your screen is 34-year-old Joseph Lee Smith. He was arrested in Longview, Texas yesterday. Smith is a convicted felon. That mugshot on the left is from a previous arrest, and he was sentenced to prison 10 years ago on a gun charge. But tonight, he's back behind bars, and that mugshot on the right was taken just yesterday. KSLA News 12's Taylor Davis is live tonight where that shooting happened. Taylor?
Destiny, I'm standing right in front of the Super 8 where that bullet struck a child and a mother. Now, if you take a look over here, police say the argument started in that parking lot and the bullet went into one of those rooms. I spoke to people in the neighborhood right behind here and they say people need to start thinking about their actions.
That should wake some people up. That should make some people sit down and think, what if that was your child?
Like so many other people in Shreveport, Terrence Thompson is sick and tired of gun violence. Police say an argument between two led to gunfire right here in the parking lot of Super 8. A bullet struck a 5-year-old girl and her mother, critically injuring the little girl.
We got to come to our mind and start thinking what's around us, you know, and stop just moving off of anger and just frustration.
I pray for the family.
Jimmy Wilson Sr. says violence is nothing new in the area. He lives on the street right behind the Super 8 motel.
Every day, every night, it's a shooting or killing, a drive-by, and whatever, you know. And it's gonna get summer now. The pandemic is enough, but right now we just need to tighten down on these youngsters.
It's very frustrating.
Shreveport Councilwoman Lavette Fuller says gunfire across the city often puts innocent people, often small children, in danger.
Stray bullets have been an issue across this community. We hear regularly about families where children are hiding in bathtubs at night because they fear bullets coming through windows.
Joseph Smith was sentenced to a 10-year prison sentence for a gun crime just 5 years ago. This weekend, police say he committed another crime with innocent victims.
If there are not consequences that are harsh enough that people think twice about what they're doing, if we're not also looking at mental health, if we're not actually coming together as a community and saying that this is not the kind of community we want to be, that we do care about our neighbors and that we do want a safe environment for children to grow up in, we're going to continue to see this onslaught.
Fuller says she's working on a new initiative starting in her district, that's District B. In Shreveport, Taylor Davis, KSLA News 12.
Right now, we're following breaking news out of Boulder, Colorado. This is a live aerial footage of the scene at King's Supermarket, where police are responding to an active shooter situation. Many different police agencies have responded to the scene and are telling people to avoid that area. State law enforcement officials said when they arrived at the scene, a suspect opened fire on them. There are reports of injuries, but there are no further details available at this time. But we'll have updates on this story on our KSLA News 12 app and tonight at 10.
Well, good Monday afternoon, everyone. So far, things have been rather quiet across the area, starting off the work week. However, I do expect that to change tonight. Just a first alert. We're going to be tracking some storms rolling through during the overnight hours. This is a snapshot of Future Track around 2 in the morning, showing some stronger storm potential here across the Arklatex. Going to track this out in more detail. We'll talk about any potential for severe weather as well on the way in your forecast in just a few minutes. Right now, though, things remain relatively quiet. A few sprinkles primarily is what we're seeing across parts of northeast Texas and into southeast Oklahoma. These are the storms that we're watching for later this evening. Not a lot of severe weather has been occurring with these, but we'll continue to track these toward the Dallas-Fort Worth area over the next few hours. And again, these will be moving into the Arklatex late this evening and through the overnight hours. Temperatures right now on the warm side, upper 60s to around 70. We do have lots of cloud cover out there, though. Live here with our Skycam down in Natchitoches from Northwestern State University. Not a whole lot of sunshine out there, especially here through the afternoon hours. And of course, with those storms coming in, clouds will continue to thicken up. Rain chances will go up after 10 o'clock tonight. Expected to see those storms begin arriving. On the KSLA First Alert weather app, you can track them out, and you'll see those temperatures gradually falling through the 60s as we head through the evening hours. Not our only chance for storms this week. We'll talk about more opportunities by mid to late week coming up in your First Alert forecast.
This is a day thousands across Louisiana have long waited for. Essential workers across the state can now line up to get the COVID-19 vaccine. KSLA News 12's Kristen Picos is at the state fairgrounds to break down who can get that shot.
Good evening. Essential workers across Louisiana now have access to the COVID-19 vaccine as the state shifts into phase 1B tier 2 of its COVID-19 vaccine rollout. This day is also very personal for my colleagues and I at KSLA as we now also have access to the COVID-19 vaccine. But get a good look at your screen right here. These are just some of the groups who can now access this coveted shot. Grocery store workers, postal workers, waste management employees, transportation workers, clergy members, construction workers, bank tellers, as well as food and agricultural workers. But Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards, during a recent news conference, says the general public in the coming weeks should have access to the COVID-19 vaccine.
I believe this will be the last expansion of eligibility that we're going to make before we open it up to the general public. Meaning the only move that I can see at the moment going forward into the future will be to say everybody in Louisiana who's 16 and older who wants to have the vaccine and hasn't had it yet, you're now eligible.
Back here now at the state fairgrounds, vaccinations are not taking place today or tomorrow, but do resume on Wednesday from 10 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening. You can go to your KSLA News 12 app right now for a complete list of locations and times where you can get that COVID vaccine in Northwest Louisiana. Back to you.
Meanwhile, some medical experts believe a fourth COVID-19 surge could be possible in the U.S. In the past week, an average of about 55,000 new cases were reported daily. Dr. Anthony Fauci says in the past, when cases plateau, another surge is likely around the corner. Another doctor, however, disagrees, saying he believes there's some form of protective immunity in about 55% of the population, which will stop another surge.
History has shown us that when you have that plateauing, that's usually the forerunner of another surge. We've actually seen that in the European Union.
We've got about 70% of seniors vaccinated now. We've got about a third of adults have had their first shot. That still leaves a good bit to go, though, so we're not there yet.
The experts do agree, though, that the most important thing is getting people vaccinated. Even as health officials debate on another COVID-19 surge, Governor Asa Hutchinson says he still plans to lift Arkansas's mask mandate on March 31st. On CNN's State of the Union Sunday, Hutchinson said the goals he announced in February are being met. Those goals include a positivity rate below 10% and fewer than 750 hospitalizations. And that's why he believes the mask requirement will be removed.
I set some goals and we're making those goals. It's not going to take away from the seriousness of the virus.
Arkansas's positivity rate was 9% as of Sunday, and the state's health department reported 216 people hospitalized as of Saturday. More partying, more travel, and fewer restrictions. This as medical experts warn this pandemic is not over. In Miami, Florida, crowds are finding new places to party despite COVID restrictions. Mostly maskless groups have packed streets and restaurants this spring break. Saturday, the city declared a state of emergency, mandating the curfew for the city's entertainment district.
When was the last time you went to bed at 8 p.m.?
I mean, it's been a very long time.
We had to do it simply because we're receiving too many people, and too many of the people that are coming are really coming with desire to just let loose and go off, and that's creating a policing issue that is endangering, frankly, everybody.
The city of Miami Beach determines they will keep this curfew in effect for the next 3 weeks. A U.S. study says that AstraZeneca's COVID vaccine is 79% effective against the disease and 100% effective against severe disease and hospitalization. Officials say the drug maker will submit these early findings from its phase 3 trial to the FDA with the hopes of getting emergency use approval. An FDA advisory committee will then study those results before deciding if it will allow its use in the U.S.